3, 2, 1.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Fab for Travel Talk. I came in a little hot.
Coming in hot.
I'm really excited today. This is Christy, and I am your host tonight, and we are all here. So we have...
Don't tell her she's got rodents just sitting on top of her head. She might not be excited anymore.
We'll keep
I
going.
love them.
And where did those come from?
I bought them on Etsy.
Yeah, those are cute.
Yeah, a woman that she does an amazing job with ears. She makes all different kinds.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best things I'll show you is on this side, it's like flexible.
Okay.
So it doesn't hurt your head because it's not hard. So it fits my ginormous melon.
How do they stay on? If they're
Right,
not
because it's firm
if they're
enough.
not pinching. Yeah.
It's firm enough. I mean, I don't know that I could go on Space Mountain. Well, no, I think I could.
Let's see. Imagine.
Could you go to a Metallica concert?
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Ew. Yeah. So anyway,
Here, I'll fan you.
Very
How's
nice.
that feel?
Right.
no problems. And they're also comfortable enough they don't make my glasses go like this.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Like so the Disney official ones do that a little bit.
So how long can you wear those without getting a headache?
So I bet I could wear these for like hours because I wore them the other day when I got them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably for maybe 3 hours. And then I only took them off because I was going to take a nap.
So you were at home, just well, never mind.
Yeah, I was at home. Hey, you know what? I can't wear to the grocery store because Allie gets upset.
I'm not judging.
But
Well, now they're
I
crooked.
love them.
Now they're crooked.
anyway, they're really cute. And if anybody sees them and wants to get a
Thank
pair.
you, Eric.
Oh.
Really?
See, I thought you said they stuck on.
Not when you're a fool and you break them. Anybody wants to know who made them, send us a DM. Be happy to tell you so you can
Very
get your
cute.
own pair.
Very nice.
Anyway, so we have Eric,
Hello.
Kyle,
Hello.
and Gina.
Hi.
And we are, our main topic tonight is going to be about the differences between a value resort and a moderate resort, which I know the guys are going to think are boring, but Gina, we get questions like this all the time.
But there are differences.
There
Yeah.
are differences.
I
And
do
you-
know that.
I kind of think it's boring too, but I think it's like,
It's important
it's important.
because
Yeah,
people ask.
People need to know.
It is, and I completely am behind that part of it.
And I'll tell you what happened, how this topic came to be.
Yes.
Are we bothering?
Oh no, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. On
Oh my God.
See, this is what happens when you give me episodes where I have to fill in.
no. So we were at Thanksgiving because for our listeners, Thanksgiving was just 3 days ago, I think. A couple days anyway.
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
It's Sunday. It was Thursday.
Right. You do the math.
Yeah. So we were sitting after dinner talking to my sister Candace, who
Hello, Sister Candace.
who has just started listening to our podcast 102 episodes in.
Better late than never.
Great. Now we
Right?
can't talk about her anymore.
I mean,
Right.
she's probably
I mean-
listened to 2 more than I have.
Oh, Eric.
Wow.
Lord.
Anyway.
So she was telling us about the episode she listened to and how she was so excited to hear us talk about her because she chose the SeaWorld Discovery Cove episode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay.
And she's like, you didn't use my name, though. You just said my sister. But I was still like, that's me. So I was like, oh, I'll have to say Candace 100 times.
Candace.
Yeah,
Okay, that's enough.
that's enough of that.
I'm going to say your name 7 times in a row, and then I'm going to think of a smell that would lock it into my brain.
Okay, he's quoting Forky from Forky Has a Question. For those of you
Right.
that have not watched that on Disney Plus, otherwise that sounds really bizarre and
Yeah.
concerning.
I'm pretty sure almost everybody that listens
Let's hope.
I
knows
hope so.
Disney Plus and Forky by this point.
Anyway, so we were talking about the podcast with Candace, and I said, well, now that we're talking about it, I need a topic because it's Thursday, and I'm supposed to post the topic for the group on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one she came up with.
Because Candace is price conscious. And
Yes.
so she would do a value only if, and she wouldn't change unless you did a really good definitive reasons for why she should book a moderate. So I could totally see why Candace would pick this topic.
Yeah. Exactly. And Gina doesn't know Candace as well, so she says price conscious. We know her really well, so we say cheap.
Not if she's listening.
Oh, oops. No, I joke with her all the time because our parents handled money very differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I handle money like my dad. And I'm just like, make it rain, baby, make it rain. No. But she has a harder time with that. But,
To each his own.
to each his own.
Yeah.
And
Right?
Yeah.
she's very happy with it. And
Good
she
for her.
did say while we were talking that she absolutely understands the difference between a value and a deluxe.
Mm-hmm.
But we were kind of talking about our upcoming trip. We're staying at the Wilderness Lodge.
Right.
And so she was just curious more about the difference between a value and a deluxe and why someone would go, value and a moderate, why someone would make that move.
Mm-hmm.
So where's Candace stayed before?
Candace has stayed at All-Star Movies and
Okay.
Pop Century.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's good to know. Just
Yeah.
curious.
And then I should say when we were kids, we stayed at the Polynesian.
Mm.
But of course
So
we
it's been
didn't
That
pay for
doesn't
that.
count because she didn't pay for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been a while, so her memory has faded somewhat, so she doesn't have a comparison to go.
And
From
she's
one
never
extreme
stayed
to
at a
another.
moderate, so she really doesn't
Yeah.
know what the comparison is.
Yeah.
So
And she's done a lot of the resort hopping because I love to do resort hopping. So when she's gone, I've also been there.
Mm-hmm.
And you too.
I love resort hopping. It is great.
What is that? Is that you saying you don't like resort hopping?
That's Eric's
kinda like
sarcastic tone.
Right. That's kind of like spending time at the hotels, like at the pools. Like, let's go back to the hotel and go to the pool. No, let's not. Let's go to Disney World and do the rest of Disney World.
I love that.
Disney World.
I go to the hotel, the different hotels, not to see the hotels. I go for the food.
Okay.
Oh.
Podcat.
Fair enough. Yeah.
We heard Podcat.
Thank you.
It's part of the experience, though. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, well, we end up staying there eventually. So I don't need to hop between them. We're just going to go to all of them eventually anyway.
Yeah.
Well, the dining is definitely
Yeah,
a
the
thing.
dining's a big reason to go between them.
Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, one of the best quick service restaurants is at Art of Animation.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think we've said that before.
We
though.
have.
Yeah,
It's really good.
the pasta station. That's my favorite there because you go up and you tell them like what kind of pasta you want, and then what kind of sauce, and then what kind of add-ons you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's all like real fresh.
Very
It's not
fresh,
sitting
yeah.
around.
They
Yeah.
have different ethnicities,
Yeah, ethnic foods.
ethnic foods,
Yeah.
too, which I enjoy.
Very much so. It's not
I've
hot
noticed
dogs
that
and
before,
hamburgers.
Yeah, it used to be Pepper Market for me, but they kind of broke Pepper Market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
because now it's called something else too. There's a different name at Coronado Springs,
yeah, I forget what it was.
and they definitely broke it.
Yeah.
Like,
we
They don't
haven't
have
been.
fajitas anymore.
Yeah, we
They don't
haven't
have a
been since
fajita
the
station.
complete remodel, but we've been in the.
They
we
were in
there.
the midst of it.
Yeah, we were there in the midst of
Yeah.
it, and it was different.
Well, I remember one time we were doing the podcast and you were making a trip over there just to eat.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, because
That's how much you liked it.
they had some of the ethnic foods because I like fajitas and tacos and stuff.
Right.
But they had a fabulous tuna sandwich. It was like on that good bread, like
Mhm.
hearty bread, and I loved that. But now they have none of that. No fajitas, no. They had burger.
Yeah, the fact they took the fajita station out was that was the end for me. I was like, that was really the reason to come here. So
Yeah.
I guess we should mention real quickly too, though, if we haven't, that the Coronado Springs is a moderate
Yes.
resort.
Yes.
yes,
And we're comparing that to previously we were talking about the Art of Animation, and that is a
Value.
value resort. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's funny in this case that what we're saying is that the value resort has much better food
Well, only in that case.
Yeah.
than the moderate and for their quick service dining.
Are you looking for that?
Yeah. So one of the things
our
that I
opinion.
did in prep for tonight, just for
When are
our,
we talking about Mandalorian?
do we need to have a Mandalorian segment every week?
I
Absolutely.
feel like we might.
Okay, we can do that at
See
the
Eric
end.
perked up.
Okay.
At the end?
Got a reason to stay awake.
Yeah, we'll keep Eric's interest if we do it at the end. Plus, if people aren't watching it, I don't want them to have to listen to us talk about it every week if they're not
People are
Sure.
Well,
watching.
if they're not watching it, then they should be
They
watching
should be
it.
watching it first.
Right, that's the whole idea. But yeah, we can wait until the end. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. So for tonight's purposes,
Is
we're
it
going
the end
to.
yet?
Would you
Oh
like,
my God, he's that
would you
kid.
like some soup in the meantime, though?
Yeah. What we did tonight, just because we had the conversation about the comparison, but I wanted to kind of just lay this basic thing out there. I did just a little bit of research. I picked the rates
Mm-hmm.
for just one night, January 21st, 2020. So we could have a conversation about the difference in price,
Mhm.
and then also the amenities and why you might want to pay more.
So how did that night go for you? Because
It was
I have people, I'm quoting people for that week,
Yeah.
and I'm not finding much.
So that's why I did one night, because I figured one night midweek, and it's a
Okay.
Tuesday,
All right.
and I found a room everywhere
Okay.
in these categories.
All right. I did
Um,
March, but I did a week. So go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. So all of the all-star resorts were the same price, $99. Which that was surprising to me, because most weeks it's over $100 a night is the average.
Yeah. And in March, it was, they were not all the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we should say that, to be fair, this is just a sample.
Right.
The pricing varies wildly, and you might be able to get a discount at one and not at others. So that may make one significantly less. That's why I did all the standard rack rates, so that we were talking about just that basic rate.
Right.
Because one of the things people may not know is that Disney actually runs their hotels as separate entities.
Yeah.
Right. So the pricing can fluctuate from one to the other, even in the same categories.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a range. And you'll see the All-Star is usually the cheapest of the
Right.
value resorts. And then the mid-range there, you have Pop Century, which for this one night was $137.
Wow.
And Art of Animation in a Little Mermaid standard room, because that's really the only way to do comparison,
Right.
is $160 a night.
Yep.
So,
People
they're
should really go for that one night. It's
right?
cheap.
$99.
What
Although
are we
I'll tell
doing?
you,
January
right?
21st.
right? I'll tell you, anyway, we'll get into that, because I'm not a fan
Let's
of the
move on.
values. Yeah. So the moderate resorts for the same night, this was interesting to me too. So Caribbean Beach and Port Orleans French Quarter were the same at $219 a night.
Huh.
Port Orleans Riverside was $231. Now, there is a difference there in that the garden view was the only room available.
Okay.
So it could be that there's a difference just in that, but that's usually only a couple dollars.
Right. That's not usually a big difference. It's not like preferred versus standard.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Coronado Springs in the old regular buildings
Right.
was $236 a night. And Grand Destino Tower, which we've talked about here on the podcast before, that's really more like a deluxe, is really priced that way. It's $319 for a standard view king. So it's not quite a deluxe,
Right.
but it's
But it's pretty
definitely
close.
considerably higher than.
So I find it interesting that Caribbean Beach is not pricing higher since it has the Skyliner.
I was thinking the same thing too, because that's a huge perk of that hotel.
Yeah.
Is having.
I mean, that's
a
why I would stay
non-bus.
there again.
Right.
It's not my favorite by any means. However, having that, would be a big perk.
So it is pretty interesting, though, that you go from the cheapest of the, the value resorts at under $100, and then entry level into moderate is $220, $120 more per
Correct.
night. It's pretty significant. I mean, that's two nights over at the value resorts, right?
Yeah. So you can stay twice as long if you're doing that.
Right.
But there's the big difference in the experience that you're going to get. And for
Right.
some people like me,
Mhm.
that makes a difference. Other people, like, it doesn't matter. I'm just sleeping there and I can be there twice as long.
Yeah, can we talk about the differences now?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think sleeping is a big one.
Yeah, me
Yes,
too.
I mean, it's huge. Sure.
That's probably the number one reason why we don't do a value anymore. Queen size versus double beds
Mm-hmm.
and the thickness of the walls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're a light sleeper, a value resort is really not the way to go, because
It can be the luck of the draw.
It can be the luck of the draw. It can be, but sure as the world,
Usually
you're going to
on the
get
losing end of the deal.
the family that's got 5 kids all under the age of 4 right next door to you.
Mhm.
And they're just all so excited they can't ever go to sleep and they're jumping on the bed.
It can happen.
Yeah. And you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the bed thing is huge. I
Right.
mean, maybe if you're tiny people, it's not that big a deal.
Mhm.
But like for the two of us to sleep in a double bed, I mean,
Right.
I like him and all, but that's really close,
That's really close.
you know? And then with you guys having 2 kids,
Mm-hmm.
them having to share,
Oh,
now that they're older, share a double bed. My God.
and
Yeah.
Amelia sleeps like
Yes.
all
she
over.
does.
I mean, she's
Bless
just
her
a
heart.
crazy
Yeah.
sleeper. We got her a weighted blanket. She kicks the weighted blanket off.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can't keep her
Yeah.
down.
No, she's just so yeah. Sleeping with her would not be fun in a double bed.
No. I mean, like I said, I love you, but it's just, it's too close.
Yeah, I get it.
It's too close, especially if you go in the hot months and you've been hot all day and
Oh, yeah, and
You
it's
know,
gross,
like-
and
it's
you're
like,
just like,
right.
ugh.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
and then I've
Yeah.
also found that and this could be luck of the draw, but I've also found the quality of the beds in the value resorts
Mhm.
aren't quite the same
Nope.
as you're going to get in a moderate or even a deluxe.
Right.
You know, it's like they're not as thick, they're not as comfortable. But my
Yeah.
biggest complaint with the rooms, excuse me, the rooms at the value is the loudness,
Yeah.
and it's not very well insulated.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got, and this part doesn't really change at most moderates, but the running down the hall, like,
Right.
well, they're outside halls, so people
Yeah.
like running, and I don't know, I feel like the old guy, like, get off my lawn.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
Well,
the thing.
It is a thing,
It's a real thing.
especially if it's the morning that you're trying to sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
you've designated a morning. Okay, we're going to sleep in. We're going to get caught up to our sleep. And here comes little Johnny running down the halls. Yay! He's just so excited. He can't wait to go. And he's got his pirate sword or his lightsaber, and he's hitting everything.
Oh,
and
he's going down the
ding,
rails.
ding, ding,
on the
ding, ding.
outside.
Yeah, going down the
exactly.
rails.
Been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yep.
with that said, you can spend $400 a night on a room at the Grand, what's it called? My God, why am I drawing a total blank? The really nice one.
Grand
Grand
Disney has.
Floridian?
Thank you. Total blank.
I'm not sure where he's going with
And
this.
at 8 o'clock in the morning, have a maid outside your door vacuuming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not typical, but it did
I know,
happen.
but it happened.
It
So
happened.
it's one of those like, yes, but I know it's
Yeah.
more likely to happen, obviously, at a value resort because you got a lot
Mhm.
more kids at those resorts running around. And
And the insulation of the rooms is not,
Right.
it's not as well done.
I find that interesting. That's not something I ever remember focusing on. But when we were
Really?
there, it wasn't something. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I don't
remember,
ever remember. It's been a long time. Let me put it in perspective. In my brain time,
Mm-hmm.
I've long since forgotten what that's like to stay
Yeah.
there. Because I remember
you
we
should go
used
down on the 21st and
right
stay
and
a
just stay
night
for
so
one
you
night
can
and be
see.
like,
Yeah, 'cause it's a
oh, I
good
remember.
price.
Yeah.
well, I was going to say, that's the truth too. We stayed there a lot when we were first married
Yeah.
because that's what we could afford.
Mhm.
Right.
And then when Allie was like 4, I think we moved up to moderates and then quickly moved to deluxes and really
Haven't looked
saved
back
the,
since.
odd trips here and there.
Mhm.
It's been deluxe.
Yeah. And another thing about the sound is that since they are the values are the outside rooms, that if you decide to stay in late or sleep late,
Mhm.
sleep in, particularly during the week, you're going to get sometimes the landscaping guys out, with the leaf blowers and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
Because they
That's
start,
right.
and boy,
Yep.
that's
that's allowed too.
that's allowed to,
Yeah.
especially on the ground levels. Well, it actually doesn't matter what level you're on.
I was
Well,
going to say
because-
leaf blower is a leaf blower.
blower.
So,
Yeah, right. And I think that even though the moderates, you have rooms that face the outside,
Mhm.
it seems to be that they're a
Space.
little more. There's more space
Yeah.
there in distance.
That's better
And
insulation.
they're much larger
Foliage.
resorts. So the odds of the landscaping people being right there in front of your room.
It's double
is-
paned glass. It's it's just
Right.
it's the little things.
You don't think they have double pane glass in the values?
They must.
They
I
probably
I
would
would
think for
think that's
insulation,
probably
like
do,
for
yeah.
just the
Yeah.
cooling and
Yeah.
stuff.
You're
Yeah.
probably right.
I don't know.
I don't think anybody
enough.
makes a single pane window anymore.
Good point.
Well, and so there's the kind of the next segue into the other piece. We're talking about the noise level.
Mhm.
At a value resort, there's no, it's kind of like, I guess you call it like a cement jungle. Very well decorated cement buildings, right?
Right.
Mhm.
But when you move over to a moderate, they have a lot more foliage and trees
Mm-hmm.
and landscaping in between buildings. So it
Yeah.
does make it much quieter.
Mhm.
Right.
And I'm thinking primarily about Port Orleans Riverside, where it's like in between some areas, it's like a forest.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
They
Yeah,
do a
literally.
really
The
good
bayou
job.
versus the
Mhm.
river. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, in that
that
bayou
is
section,
side or
we've stayed there
whatever.
before, and it is really quiet. At least
Yeah.
when we were there, it was
Mhm.
very quiet.
Mhm.
And I think that, there's kids at all of them. There's less kids at certain ones because of the theming. But I think that just the setup of it all being like open air, free for all at the values makes it more like that.
Yeah.
So what other things, though, besides just, noise and little beds? What other
Toilet
things are there?
Well, another
No,
thing.
the toilet paper is pretty much the same across the board now. That's all going down the
Toilet.
At the
down
deluxe.
the toilet. Even the deluxes have
Yeah.
dropped.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Last time we were there, I was
You
very
guys mentioned
unhappy.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Towels.
The towels are definitely better.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you move up, you get better towels.
Yeah.
One thing that a lot of people don't mention is that transportation is something that people don't necessarily look at as part of the value, but to me, it's very much so because you can. Time is so valuable while you're at Disney, and the deluxe resorts. Well, let's put it this way. I know, but I have to compare it this way. The value resorts, look at it as concentric rings. The value resorts are on the outside. They're the farthest away. Typically, as a rule of thumb, they're the farthest away from the gates or the the Magic Kingdom, especially theme parks. And the moderates are closer in, and the deluxe are closer in yet still. So when it comes to getting to the theme parks in the shortest amount of time, you're staying in a value resort, it's going to take you longer to get there.
Right.
And so moderate resort is going to take you a little less time. Deluxe resort, of course, is going to take you the least amount of time. So you're
For
paying,
the most part.
For the most part, as a rule of thumb. So you're paying for that as well, I think. So some people have to consider that as part of your value proposition. You're paying for that, I think, a little bit as well.
Right.
Yeah, Christy and I were actually talking about that the other day, or since we decided this was going to be the topic. And it was, if you could imagine what it would cost for a day, whatever the cost of a day is in Disney, whatever that is. And you figure, you may save yourself an hour, maybe not a day, but maybe a couple days or something, right? You're going to save that time. You're putting that back into the cost of the room.
Right.
Right. Essentially.
Well, and to Kyle's point, like up until recently, value resorts were all buses.
Yes.
Yeah.
For everything. And now we've got Pop Century and Art of Animation that have the Skyliner to Epcot and Hollywood Studios.
Very true.
So that makes a difference. And then moderate is mostly busing, but now we have Caribbean Beach with the Skyliner, and then the Port Orleans resorts have the boat to Disney Springs.
Right.
So none of it is still ideal first level transportation. I mean, we don't have a monorail yet or a boat to a theme park kind of thing, but it is better than being busing.
True.
So one thing that I thought of just randomly this morning that's a difference in the transportation world too is at the value resorts, your bus stops are not covered. They're uncovered. And when you move, when you move to moderate, they now have a cover over them. Yeah, so think about the All-Star
The All-Stars
Sports.
just open out by the side of the street, essentially, right?
Right in the sun.
You're right.
Yeah.
Huh.
I do remember that now.
And they're all like
thought
that?
about that.
Yeah, they're all like that.
Okay.
All right.
So that was kind of an interesting thing. And I had heard this years ago when I first did a training on site with Disney, one of the travel agent trainings. And I hadn't thought about it since then because it kind of went in one ear and out the other because it's a little detail.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But if you're there in blazing summer, having to stand there for 20 minutes and wait for a bus in the direct sun.
That's inhumane.
Right.
Yeah,
Especially in Central Florida. That's just.
Right. And then it could be rain or
Right.
whatever else is coming.
Wow.
And it seems like it would have been such a simple thing for them to cover them.
Right.
It had, and I don't know
Especially,
why, but
especially with all the parking fees they have now, they could build them.
Right.
Exactly.
It's been a couple episodes. I had to bring it back.
And the interesting thing is, it had to have been a decision at some point because all of the values don't have them. And then as soon as you hit the moderates, they have them.
Yeah.
And the deluxes have them too, obviously. But
are the deluxes the only ones with the television screen that's supposed to tell you how long you're going to have to wait?
Those.
Yeah, the moderates have that too. I don't know about values, but moderates definitely do.
Yeah.
So you probably haven't been to a value since they started doing that, right?
Yeah. I mean, we had that
But where
one
would
night.
they mount them? I mean, they don't have shade.
Right.
Where would they put them?
Yeah, you can't just throw it on a pole and have them get all wet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Why is that funny?
That's a really good point.
That's a good point.
That's a
why I
great
laugh.
point.
I'm like, obviously,
They
it's a
can't
great
have them.
point.
Where would they put them?
Where would you put it?
Yeah.
In a
So
box.
the
in a
other
hole.
thing, I know this doesn't seem like a big deal, but I kind of think a little bit, especially if you have kids, that it is. I'm going to take away art of animation because I feel like they're a different, yes, they are a value, but they're kind of they're a little hybrid there. But for the most part, the pools at the moderates are all just one step above. They're just one step up from a value, and they have a water slide. And that may not seem like a big thing, but if you're toying with the idea of doing the park hopper option plus because your kids really love a water slide, then that could be a decision. Hey, why not get a little bit bigger room with bigger beds? The resort has a water slide, has, a better themed pool. And when you go up to a moderate, and they have towels.
And they have towels.
That's right. There are towels at the pool. Let's make that clear.
Yes.
Yeah,
at the
pool
pool.
towels.
So the values don't have that?
No.
You got to bring your own from the
room.
From the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the other thing about them is that moderates also have hot tubs.
Oh,
So
I
you
didn't
get
realize that.
slides and hot tubs
Okay.
at that.
Can you
at the
slide
bottom.
into the hot tub, though? Because that would be great.
You cannot slide into the hot tub. No.
You could, but it's an accident.
Just a
it's
really
not
small.
something you really want to do.
Yeah. It's not so much sliding as it is falling.
Call
Right.
the paramedics.
I was going to say you stop by the pool bar, which there is one at both value and moderates, and then you can fall into the hot tub. But
Right.
yeah. So that to me is a kind of a big thing, especially again, if you're going in the cooler months.
Right.
And you want to be able to like get a beverage and sit in the hot tub for a bit at night, or if your legs are bothering you after walking the 12 miles,
Mm-hmm.
hopping in a hot tub's a nice thing.
Very true.
And again, like you said, outside of art of animation, because especially when we're talking pools, that's a different ball game, and they have that splash pad.
Exactly.
Moderates sometimes have splash pads.
Mm-hmm.
Values do not,
Right.
except for art of animation.
Exactly.
Well, and from the numbers that you have written down here, it looks like art of animation is within $60 of Caribbean Beach.
Yes.
Whereas the other ones are $110 difference, right? So
And for that $60, you're getting on the Skyliner, you're getting the possibility of a discounted rate at some point. Whereas Art of Animation, Little Mermaid room, those rooms aren't going to be discounted.
right.
Whatever you pay for the rack rate is what you're going to pay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you go to Caribbean Beach or one of the other moderates, it's likely, you may not guaranteed, but there may be an offer that's presented to itself. So $60, you're on the Skyliner, you get a pool, you get queen size beds, pool with a hot tub and a water slide.
And in that case, you still have access to. Are you talking about pop, or are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about.
You're talking about the moderate. You're talking
Moderate. I'm talking about Caribbean Beach.
Okay, Caribbean Beach. Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer.
Now,
And then we haven't even thought about
sit down restaurant versus
Right.
only counter service, right, or quick
point.
service.
Yep.
Yeah. I was going to say that's the next kind of thing to consider, right? Is at the values, you only have quick service, cafeteria style food.
Right.
Now, in the case of Art of Animation, it's great.
Yeah.
Good food.
Right.
But if you are the kind of people that want to have the option to have a sit down restaurant at your hotel, you don't have that in the value.
Right.
And actually, just a caveat is that there actually isn't one at Port Orleans French Quarter either. They have quick service only. But they're sister resorts with Port Orleans Riverside. So you can exchange privileges at both. So
yeah.
not that you can't eat there, but
and it's a boat ride. You can just go down.
Boat ride. You could walk.
Right.
Take a horse-drawn carriage if you really wanted to.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what. Don't discount the fact that, but we don't eat at our resort. We go off somewhere else. Because sometimes when you're tired and you don't feel like going back to the parks, you can do a walk up to those restaurants in the resorts, where if you're at a theme park, odds are you are not walking up to a restaurant and sitting down to eat until 9:30.
True.
But there's been plenty of times that we've walked up to like Maya Grill or Boat Rights, and we've gotten, seated very quickly. So that's something really nice when you're really, really tired.
Yeah. The convenience factor there is huge.
It is.
And Boat Rights is pretty plain as far as food goes. Maya Grill, we actually looked at a couple different times, and we just couldn't get there. It was too ethnic for what we were looking for at that point.
It was actually pretty expensive too.
But we were looking
because we were paying out of pocket for that trip. So
okay, we've had it on a couple of occasions. Our very first time we were ever there was a guy walking around with a guitar, just strolling. He wasn't singing, but he was just strolling. And then we realized that he's playing Sweet Caroline. And then all of a sudden, the whole restaurant breaks out into bum bum bum. Everybody starts singing, and the girls are like, "Are we in a flash mob? What the heck? How did y'all know to do that?"
Funny.
It was funny. But it's a little, I'd say Maya Grill is a little bit more for the adventuresome side, but sometimes you can't let the descriptions throw you off too bad, because we've talked about this before, Christy, on our food podcast, that the descriptions sometimes are made to make your mouth water. And they're just fancy ways of saying something that's very simple, like mayonnaise.
Like aioli.
Like aioli. That's exactly what I was thinking while you guys were. Yeah.
Which I actually made my own aioli recently. It was a cranberry aioli, because I just mixed cranberry sauce in with mayonnaise.
Perfectly acceptable.
And I was like, I'm winning.
Did you march it out to everyone as aioli? Look,
I was home all alone.
No. We didn't get any of that.
I was home alone.
Okay, you should have taken a picture and said, just whipping up some cranberry aioli for my sandwich.
Right. I'll do it next time. I got turkey at the store yesterday, so I could totally do that.
Perfect.
Right? Get one of the little cans.
Yeah.
Little cans of cranberry sauce.
Well, we're actually having cranberry sauce for dinner tomorrow night with our dinner, so I could do it tomorrow.
Just for dinner? Like, that's it?
Just for dinner? That's it. That's all you
everybody
get.
Gets a can?
Yeah.
You get a can, you get a can, you get a can.
Yeah.
But that's not on Oprah's favorite things list.
No.
Right? I'm betting not.
Canned cranberry sauce.
Allie's friend comes from a family that actually cooks, kind of like yours.
Oh.
And she was saying how canned cranberry sauce was not a thing. That you have to make it and it has to have oranges and whatever. And so every time we got served during the 3 holiday meals that we had, Allie was snapping pictures and sending it to Alex. And being like, this is how my family does cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce has ridges.
Yeah. If it's not shaking.
Those are the best part.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true.
So the other thing we didn't talk about with the rooms, I want to just say quickly, is the rooms are actually larger at a moderate resort. So like Pop and All-Star, they're 260 square feet. Little Mermaid, you get a little bit more at 277. But Port Orleans, Caribbean Beach, and Coronado Springs are all 314 square feet.
Yeah.
Which I know it doesn't sound like a huge difference, but when you've got a family of 3 or 4 in that room, every bit counts.
Yeah.
It does.
You stub your toe on the corner of the bed going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. It makes a big
it makes
difference.
a huge difference.
And then Grandestino Tower, which, as we all know, is one of my favorite spots now.
Right.
They come in at 375 square feet.
Oh, wow.
So there's another
Yeah,
reason
nice.
why it's
Palatial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And more
room that we were
expensive.
in was spacious.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't normally say that about a hotel room, like, but that one, there was plenty of room in that room.
It actually kind of
We
felt
had a
like,
king room, so
Yeah,
there was
that's
only
what-
the one bed and
Yeah.
nothing else. So
it
Nice.
reminded me a little bit of Universal's Royal Pacific. Those rooms are huge.
yeah,
And I think the ceiling height has something to do with it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
higher
that can
than
make all
regular.
the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't feel like you're crouching.
yeah.
What floor
Exactly.
were you guys on?
12?
12, 13,
Nice.
12, 14, something like
Okay,
that.
not
Yeah,
13.
it's not
It's just
13. That's
so-
why I said that. It's
It's just so weird to me that a Disney resort has 12, 13 floors,
Mhm.
you know? It's like,
Yeah.
just still doesn't, it still blows my mind when I hear somebody
And you
talk
guys
about
had
it.
the Epcot side, the Epcot view? that side of
no,
things?
we had the Hollywood Studios view. So we
Oh,
could
okay.
see, we could see Galaxy's Edge and all
Wow.
that from
Which is
from
called the
room.
standard view.
Yeah,
which
which
was
is awesome.
interesting.
Hmm.
Wow.
Because a standard
That is
view
interesting.
room there, they have water view, which is facing the lake on their property, or standard view, which is theme park, really. Like
Yeah.
if they had fireworks going off.
Oh, we
At
saw
Hollywood
fireworks.
Studios.
Yeah, we watched.
Oh, that's right. We did
we
watch
watched the
that.
fireworks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Interesting. So the other side you can see, I mean,
Like
you're
Animal
12
Kingdom.
stories up at Lakeview. You got to look down to see
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
It was, I mean, it was a very nice laid out spot, but
Yeah.
I definitely was like, we got a theme park view paying for a standard view rate. Like,
Right.
that-
But you're
this is
still
pretty good.
spending $319.
Yeah, it's the
Right.
Yes.
highest
So
end
it's
of
not
the
cheap.
moderate.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. They're kind of
But
making
you
their
get the
own moderate,
Skyliner there, right?
moderate
no.
plus.
No,
No
no
Oh,
Skyliner.
you don't. No, you
Nope.
don't. I'm thinking Riviera,
Yeah.
and that's a deluxe.
Talk about palatial.
Yeah.
But in our opinion, one thing I can say, I'll say this about Coronado Springs is we've always considered Coronado Springs kind of like a gym because it's kind of like, to us, at
Mhm.
least our experience of that, it's always been kind of like a little, it's been what we call it,
It's a moderate
it's
slash on the upside of moderate.
yeah,
to
it's
us.
on the very upside.
I know
of
y'all
moderate.
don't feel the same, but
We've been lucky.
We
maybe.
didn't.
Yeah.
But now with Grandestino Tower, I definitely do.
And
Right.
and they have redone it quite a lot. Like the
Mhm.
whole
Yeah.
resort area, they've like
Mhm.
repainted. They've changed it around a little bit. So
It's not so brown
it's-
anymore.
Well, they've
And they've-
refurbed all the rooms.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
the
right.
casitas
that
and
made
all
a
the
big.
different
I'd
areas. It made a
forgotten about
huge
that,
difference.
but that made a huge difference
Yeah.
in
And
how
go-
the room felt and stuff.
well, and now they have a bridge that goes across the lake. So you don't have to walk all the way around the lake. You can just cut across
Yeah.
the bridge,
Yeah.
which
Which is
makes
nice.
that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because they had one before, but it was like off on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a totally different one. This one cuts right up through the middle,
Well, it goes to that
Um,
Three Bridges
and
restaurant
it goes
too,
to the restaurant,
which was
is
really
there.
good.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, it
So
was
yeah.
a very large resort. Well, it was a very brown and sterile. I think some
Yep,
people
and
thought it was a very
spacious.
sterile, kind of spacious resort beforehand, kind of like for conventions and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think
So
they
now
were
when you
good with
look, if you go out onto that bridge or you start walking around that area and you look back towards the tower at night,
that. Mhm.
it's beautiful. I mean,
Mhm.
the way they did it, the way it's lit and everything, they did a really, really nice job with it. And we got some great pictures, just phone pictures
Mhm.
of that. So, I mean, I think it's actually a lot better than it was. I was really surprised that it changed as much as it did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
said I would definitely stay there again. And we talked about it on
Yeah.
the podcast before, but
Right.
I definitely liked it.
Busing was convenient, for the most part. They still have multiple stops, but,
Sure.
it
But
wasn't,
you're
it wasn't
just
bad.
with that one resort. You're not
Right.
stopping at 3 other resorts.
That's a
You're
good point.
just you.
So that's
Yeah.
one of the things we hadn't talked about. I mean, we
Yeah.
mentioned,
The time,
the time
transportation.
travel and stuff, but if you're staying at the All Stars, you're stopping at all 3 All Stars,
Right.
right? And that's
It
a
will-
time sink.
I will say it depends on the time of year. If you go at Christmas time,
That's true.
they're
Yeah.
running,
They're running.
or peak like July 4th, they have one
Point to
for
point.
each. But the typical for them is to have all 3 All Stars together.
Hmm.
But remember how they also were doing that with the deluxes.
Oh, yeah.
They're putting like Grand Floridian and Polynesian together, and then Contemporary and Wilderness Lodge together. I
Mhm.
That's
hate
true.
that.
Yeah,
I did too.
they have done that before.
Well, we got on one time at Wilderness Lodge, and it went to Fort Wilderness.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've
And
seen
I
that
really
too.
didn't-
Went to
I
the
didn't-
trailer park.
And that wasn't-
Yeah,
Like,
no,
no,
it's
that's
like,
not
what's
okay.
going on here? Like,
Right? And that's a
Get me
moderate
outta
we
here.
haven't touched on at all. And
That's
it
true.
doesn't it prices pricier, but you're getting
Oh, that's a good point.
a whole trailer to yourself.
Mhm.
And it sleeps more.
It's a cabin, Gina. It's a
It's
cabin.
not a cabin. It has wheels.
They're just hidden
cabin.
by lattice.
Yeah,
Which I
it's
can't.
got wheels. Look under the lattice. If you don't see a bobcat, you'll see
Underpinning.
wheels.
Right.
Yeah, be careful.
Exactly.
Don't look under the
Yeah,
lattice.
don't look under the lattice.
We had a bobcat under ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you know what? When I made the list, I didn't even think about that one, but that is a value and a moderate all at
It
once,
is.
because you have the campground part, the campsites, those are considered value. And then,
Wow.
yeah, real value.
It's both
Real
And-
value.
And they
country
have
and Western.
we got both kinds.
Oh my God, that reminds me, totally off topic, but I thought of you guys. There was a meme today that said something about now that we have self-driving cars and they're becoming more and more popular, it's only a matter of time before a country song is about a guy whose truck left him. And I
So true.
laughed really
Yes.
hard.
So
I love
true.
country music, but it reminded me of
That's
Walker
great.
Hayes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's the song about that, Walker? Come
Right.
So true.
That's hilarious.
on.
So the campground,
Yeah.
trailer park, whatever.
Stop. Yes.
I'm never going to stop. That's what it is. No, that's not going to stop. They actually have tent sites,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So that's like super value
Mhm.
because those are how much? Those are pretty cheap, right?
They're usually around $50 a night, but those also go up and down depending on the
Sure.
season.
Yeah.
But I didn't know this until fairly recently, that you can actually rent a tent from Disney, and Disney will, like the people at Fort Wilderness will actually go and put it up for you.
Oh.
And it's like those heavy duty white tents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a typical tent like we would have up here.
Okay.
It's more of a heavy duty kind of thing.
Like a canvas tent, kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
almost like it looked kind of like a wedding tent.
I was going to say, like with the windows and like the stuff around it.
Yeah. My dad had gotten a
That's
picture of it when he was
interesting.
there, and he just happened to show me one day, and I was like, what is that?
But at that point, so your tent site's $50. You rent a
Renting
thing
the
for
tent.
$50 or
Yeah.
however much it is, and by that point, you could have been
Real
staying at
bed.
All Star Sports,
Which, remember, our friend Sue,
right? Do they bring a bed and stuff? Do they give you like a cot and all that
they
stuff
do
too? with
have
it, or-
cots you can rent.
So you got to rent
Oh, good
those.
grief. You got to rent those
Yeah.
too.
Nickel and dime
Okay.
you to death.
Yeah.
But our friends,
So at the end of the day, it's
It's-
cheaper to just stay,
Yeah.
unless you're bringing all your own stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
well, and people want the experience of camping.
Yeah.
I know you don't. You don't want that anywhere, though. But some people do. Like our friend Sue, one of our agents,
Mm-hmm.
she stays at Fort Wilderness all the time, and they have their own fifth wheel camper that they pull back and forth.
Right.
On one trip,
Just in the spot.
Yeah.
They don't go far. They just go like this in the spot with it. They move it back and forth.
Back and forth.
Mm-mm. In this one time,
yeah. So this one time, her
they
husband
weren't
went
going to band camp.
on a road with
You know,
Sorry.
the bridge above them was too low, ripped the whole top of the camper off.
Yeah.
Oh, I
they
forgot
did.
about that.
Yeah,
That's
remember?
right.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
near
Uh-huh.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Right.
So she called me looking for help at
That's
the,
right.
at
You
the
had to
Fort
get her.
Wilderness. I had to
get her
organize
another
that.
thing. Like,
They ended up with a
Wow.
tent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, is that what they did?
Yeah, because there was no rooms anywhere. Like
Oh
it was
my gosh.
Christmas
yeah,
week.
it was Christmas.
Like, and now their camper was on the side of the road.
And they opened the camper like a present.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
No
She
rooms
doesn't
at
like
the
to
inn.
talk about that. So
No,
let's
I'm
not
sure.
I
ask
bet
her.
not.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
my gosh, that's awful.
It was not a good
Would
night for
that
any
be
of
covered
them.
by insurance, or is that your like? Nope, sorry, you did
Kinda
that
doubt it,
yourself.
yeah. It's kinda
I don't know. If you
relies
get
on
into
that.
an accident, it's still
Is that-
covered.
Right. Is that homeowners or is that auto
You have
insurance?
trailer insurance.
Use
Trailer
trailer
insurance.
insurance,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so
RV
yeah,
insurance.
that's an option too.
Okay.
But there's so many like pluses or minuses to both.
Yeah.
And some people really, I honestly will
Some
say,
people love camping.
Mhm.
I was actually moving on from camping. I was going to say,
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
the
I thought,
value.
thought we were
Some
on
people
camping. Some
just-
people love it.
Are really, they get up, they take a shower, they get ready, they go to the parks, they don't come back until midnight, they don't care. And they're so exhausted when they finally hit the bed, they're going to sleep through whatever.
yeah,
And I get that.
it's a clean, safe place to stay.
Yeah.
It is. And that's really what they're looking for. And it's inside the bubble, which is
Mhm.
a big thing
Yeah.
to us.
Huge thing.
And to most of my clients, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
But I do think here's what I think. I think it's a different vacation. A moderate resort is a different vacation. If you're looking for a slightly less go, a moderate is a good place to be.
Yeah.
If you can't quite get to the deluxe yet, I think a moderate's a good place to go because it's got a lot to offer.
I feel the same. I think I have a lot of clients that like to do like a rest day, which is not usually my recommendation, but some people really like to do that.
Yeah, I've gotten that more recently with several clients wanting, well, this is going to be a rest day. Okay. I don't think you're going to want to do it when it comes down to it, but
especially when we look at the way the tickets are priced.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so you're already going 4 days. To make it 5 days, it's like $11 more.
Right.
You're better off doing, half days, a couple days.
What I try to, that's exactly what I try to explain.
But some people, they really want to do that. But I think at the value resorts, there's not really any rest happening, But if you're at like Port Orleans Riverside and you take a rest day, there's, quiet places to hang out. The pool's quieter. You can have dinner, like a sit-down meal, that sort of thing.
You can ride the boat over to Disney Springs and watch what's going on over there.
I was just thinking these are the same people that like when I go to Disney and go shopping. I'm like, what? Do you not have stores at the place where you live?
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Downtown Disney, it's just an outdoor mall.
I don't know.
That's all it is.
I mean,
and now it's a high-end outdoor mall.
Right.
And I love to go to downtown Disney, but not for the shopping.
Disney
Because I agree with you. It's a mall.
Yeah.
But it's like, do you guys not have
Except for shopping for your hats. You like to do that.
Well, that's because I don't have a hat store, really, a good quality hat store.
So maybe they don't
have a chapeau.
They are.
Okay.
They don't have a good Japanese.
I get you though, Kyle. I totally get it because I don't care for Disney Springs really for that reason. There's stuff that I don't need to do. But people talk about that with going to Hawaii too. I gotta go to the mall in Waikiki. Why?
Right.
Yeah. Of all the beautiful things to see in Hawaii, why do you want to go to a mall?
Not like Waikiki? I have to go surfing. I have to rent a car and drive through the mountains. No, I got to go to the mall.
Right.
I got to go to the mall. I need a new pair of shoes. It's like, wait, what? You're in Hawaii. Go barefooted. What do you need shoes for?
Right.
You actually don't need shoes the entire time you're there.
Buy them at home. And even if you go to Neiman Marcus at home versus Neiman Marcus in Waikiki,
they're going to be cheaper at home.
You're going to be cheaper at home.
Exactly. You don't have to lug them on the plane.
I beg to differ on that.
Oh, stop.
Hey, but that's the thing. Different people like different things.
Right? I mean, who goes on vacation to go buy stuff?
Me.
That's another whole different podcast. Let's have that. Let's do that. Let's put that on the table. And
your butterfly?
My Jamaican butterfly.
Ah, yeah. See, some luxury items are cheaper in Hawaii because they cater to the Asian market that's coming over that stops in Hawaii and stuff.
Huh.
Okay.
So,
and
there's a large Asian market in Hawaii.
Okay.
Let's don't get politically incorrect.
I'm not. No, that's the Asian.
It's the locality of it. I mean, think about like if you're coming from Japan to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Much easier to make that trip than it is to go to LA or New York or
right. Exactly.
But you know what? There's got to be big shopping at destinations that we just miss because when you go to like on a cruise ship, the Anthem of the Seas, I swear to God, had 87 different watch stores. Like,
and who buys artwork on a cruise ship?
Lots of people. It's so weird.
People with a lot of money to spend.
Right.
That's just really what it is. Like, and like a piece of art I could almost understand because you're like, well, I'll remember this cruise when I see this painting or something. But
that's the last thing on my mind when I'm on a cruise ship. Art.
But I know people think that there are people.
He comes from an art family. People that buy art.
I can see it. I wouldn't do it, but I mean, we always look at the Disney art every time, like when we're on the ship.
Well, to be fair, that's because they have art you can't get anywhere else.
Right.
There's a couple on the Dream that I've seen that I'm like,
yeah, there it goes. And here we go.
What?
You're going to be buying art now.
No.
That'd be the next thing.
No, I have college to pay for. I'm not buying anything but ramen noodles.
Yeah, right.
This podcast is going to get a lot more boring.
Totally switch rails here. I got us off on a totally different.
Right. So as long as we're going off the rails, let's talk about Mandalorian now, because I think we covered all the other stuff, unless you had something else to talk about.
I think we covered it pretty good.
We covered it. So Candace, will you stay at a moderate now?
It was a good
Let us know.
Yeah.
I almost thought to myself, I'll just text her. I'm like, she hasn't seen this yet.
Right. So what do you think? Did you change your mind yet? She's like, what are you talking about?
She's probably like, why are you texting me? I'm in bed.
Yeah. Right.
It's late for me.
So who
But
wants
for
soup?
sure. So Mandalorian.
Soup.
Soup.
What?
Soup.
It's total Mandalorian. Thing.
Mandalorian.
Soup.
Oh yeah.
Right? The soup.
So would you like some soup?
Yes.
I loved the fact that the child was so much more active on this one.
Yes.
You can see him walking along.
Yeah. And he's just poking things.
Right?
When he was in the ship and he was like, "Don't touch that."
Oh, I know.
I was like,
right
we
at him.
forgot
He
to
goes,
say we've got to say spoilers ahead.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
That's another good reason to do it at the end in case people
Yeah,
haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. True. Okay, so
But yeah,
I was not familiar with this version of the ATST.
ATST. Yep.
Yeah,
The
I was
two-legged
not-
version.
Yeah.
The two-legged version of AT&T.
Where did he come from? It come from?
So that was actually in Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Was
They
it
actually
really?
had that in Jedi in the forest in Endor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Andor.
Because it's smaller and
Oh, with the
easier to
Ewoks?
maneuver. Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's why I
actually-
missed that.
That's the one where the two
The big logs.
the two logs from either side come and smash it.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
also the
Right.
one that Chewbacca overtakes.
Okay.
And he ends up walking up to the thing, and they're all like, "Oh my god, this thing's gonna kill us!" And then Chewie pops
him.
out of the top, and they're like, "Yeah!"
Okay,
And he
so
blasts
that was
the door.
my other thing. So this one in Mandalorian doesn't appear to have anybody inside of it, but I
Yeah.
thought people drove it.
So this one was weird. They treated it like it was a robot,
Yeah.
Right.
which I thought was very strange. It had like red eyes and stuff. That was a little bit of a stretch
Mhm.
for me. That was like, what's going on here? Like, you didn't suddenly come up with like AI for these things, overnight.
Yeah.
So
But the timeline, isn't it that much further
Well,
after Jedi?
It's 5 years after Jedi.
Oh, okay,
So
that's not.
it's
Not that-
they didn't suddenly become sentient. They're just
Yeah.
they're walkers
So-
with people in
He
them.
was on autopilot.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
5 years after Jedi.
Yeah.
So was Yoda in Jedi?
Yes.
Okay. So that means this really isn't Yoda. Because I read something
No,
online.
Yoda's dead.
Yoda's dead. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yoda died,
dies
right?
in
After
in
Jedi?
Jedi.
Oh.
No, he dies in Jedi at the beginning.
Okay. Because people online were talking about it
Mhm.
and saying that this absolutely could be actual Yoda.
It's most likely a clone of Yoda.
Okay.
I think that's what's going to end up coming.
Well, could it
come to
not just be
fruition.
another of his type? I mean, there had to be more than just a Yoda.
So it
It's kinda
could be.
like-
Well, there's
What's his name from the Muppets All Alone? Gonzo.
Gonzo?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the only one?
Only one? Is it like Yoda and Gonzo?
so one of the things that I read online had said
Gonzo
the
connection.
the- one of the first guys that they come in contact with, the guy with the glasses that walks into the room and everybody like pulls their guns, when the Mandalorian's in there.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
That
yeah,
guy.
The scientist.
The guy with the scientist with the glasses.
Yeah.
Right.
He apparently has a patch on his shirt, and the patch on his shirt is indicative of the clones, like the clone,
Mm-hmm.
the people that make the clones.
Okay.
And so there's some very subtle hint at him potentially being a clone of Yoda or a Yoda type, character. So that's kind of what they've been talking about online anyway.
Okay.
That's the extent of what I know about it.
So without giving it away, I was almost done with the show.
Really?
There were things that happened.
There was a thing that happened. She's like, "I'm done." And she got up, like she was ready to leave the room. I was like, you
During
don't-
this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, if that happens, I'm out.
Oh,
I've
if
got
he
other
left,
things.
if he left,
Right. If
The
you
child?
left him behind.
Yeah.
And,
I
did
was
the
like,
thing.
I
if
knew
the
that was
child
gonna
is somehow
happen.
injured
yeah,
or like left behind or something, I'm out.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then there was a meme that we found online that's something about like, if the child
If the
dies,
child
we
dies,
riot.
we riot.
yeah, exactly.
I was like,
Well, so here's the thing though with the show, if we're future planning on that part of it, like they had to know they had a thing, like
Don't you think?
Not John Lasseter, John Favreau,
Yeah,
knew they had something. So I don't. Plus the way the show's set up, I can't imagine they're going to leave it anywhere. I think it
No.
has to stay as part of the show.
right.
Well,
the Mandalorian
it's
has
just-
to continue to protect it.
Well, especially now. Now he's like he's jumped into that with both feet. So
Right.
yeah, he's
Exactly.
kind of he's stuck, and that's got to be kind of how it goes.
It's almost gonna be a
So
side
I
trip
hope the
later on.
lady
Yeah.
in the tribe, I hope she comes back. Like, I feel like she has a story, because how did she know to use those guns so well? You know,
Right.
you don't just handle one of those
Oh, yeah.
things.
Oh, her? Yeah, it
And,
was quite
yeah, with
obvious. And
such
she knew
precision.
stuff. Yeah, she knew stuff about him and the Mandalorians, and
Yeah.
they don't
Right.
take their helmet off. She knew the whole story there.
Yeah.
And yeah, they didn't get into like her husband,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, or any of that stuff. And yeah, she was far above and beyond everybody else
Mhm.
Yeah,
as far as being able to
she
handle
wasn't
herself.
afraid to try to lift it off either, which I thought was like, ooh, wait, hold
Yeah.
on, that's pretty brazen.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, like you don't know what's under there, and you don't
Yeah.
know what
Right.
happens next.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so yeah, there's
That'd
that
be
too.
cool.
It's
I hope
Yeah.
that we see her again. I hope
Who
that's not
knows?
the last
Could go
of her.
anywhere. But let me ask you this: I don't want to offend anybody, but it's not. I didn't bail. I didn't almost bail. It didn't cause me to go, okay, well, I'm done with this. But because I like some campy stuff, but I thought that this one was definitely a campy episode. I mean, it was like
so they played up the child stuff more.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and let
totally.
him be funny and have his moments, right?
Yeah.
More
So-
than
Yeah.
more than some of the other episodes.
But
Yeah.
here's what I think makes them genius, is because it's drawing in
All
Christy
the audiences,
and it's drawing in
totally.
Eric. So they got to do a little bit of that to
no,
keep her
totally.
coming.
Oh, that's why I'm still in it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, just because they also have to do that to kind of make the story move along and be more complicated without taking a lot of time, because they were like, we were already talking about, oh, what if the villager?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of possibility there. And then, the child, all these different things, these complications, even the rebel lady,
Right.
the
girl.
the girl, the rebel that he was,
Mhm.
that whole backstory there, all these
Mhm.
kind of things, but all these things that made it campy. It's like, any of these things could have gone in any other direction, but it's all but almost like a spaghetti Western too, in a way. So it makes it exciting. They had
Yeah.
this battle where they taught these people who
Right.
were an agrarian society, how to, take sticks and fight, overnight with
What
people. Okay, it's
exactly is
stupid
a
as all
spaghetti
get out,
Western?
but it sucks you into it. It's like, okay,
It's-
I can let that go.
Yeah,
Spaghetti
spaghetti
Western.
westerns, those like the old Clint Eastwood westerns, that were, whatever, they're made in Mexico and then overdubbed or whatever they did with them, like those
So
old.
why are they called spaghetti?
They were cheap and kind of, well, let's see, why were they called? Actually, spaghetti western's this is not a spaghetti western. I shouldn't have said that, but more of a
But I've heard that
low
term
budget.
before.
Yeah.
This
And
is like you were saying, it's Firefly.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of Firefly to it. They had one scene where they had pulled back and they showed the entire village.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the way they kind of settled into it, I was like, oh my God, that's a Firefly shot right there.
Yeah.
Like totally was.
I know the exact one you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, when I said it when I said that to Allie went, she goes, really? She goes, I don't see Firefly in it. She goes, I see Doctor Who in it. And I went,
Oh, yeah,
really?
Yeah.
I was like,
I see
really?
Dr.
She goes,
Who,
yeah, because they're jumping around from place to place. They're doing this thing, and it's constantly like his TARDIS is his ship, right?
Yeah.
And he's jumping from planet to planet and doing all this other stuff. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see that right away, but there's something to that.
They're expecting you to buy into a whole lot of things by just one little bitty thing. Like,
Yeah.
okay, here's the ATST. Okay, don't worry about who's driving it. It's going to come after
buy
you.
it.
Yeah.
Just buy into it. They're going to destroy it. Who cares? That kind of thing.
Right.
And it's entertaining, but yet it has this whole along the main story of the Mandalorian. It's compelling. It keeps you keep watching it and stuff like that. I'm totally into it. It's fun. It's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
It's got this really cool story, because they could still take the Mandalorian story himself, the story about the dude, and that could still be like really serious, really dark, compelling.
I love his voice.
Oh yeah, it's totally cool.
The thing that I found interesting though still is that the episodes are only 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. It goes by
they
so quick.
feel so short.
Right.
It's like wait, they're over, and he gets back in the ship and he takes off, and you're like, wow, it's the end of another episode. Like, okay, well, and then the beginning of the next episode, they're going to show him jumping out of hyperspace into wherever he's going to be next, and then he's going to go do his thing. But it's crazy. I don't know.
Did
It's
you
way
look
too
up
short.
spaghetti Western?
I did.
What'd you get?
And it said the term was used by American critics and those in other countries because most of these Westerns were produced and directed by Italians.
That's right. There you go. That's where it came from.
Oh,
They're
That was the
also known
original
as
term.
macaroni westerns,
Macaroni
primarily in
Western,
Japan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Huh.
Because I kept thinking, I don't like any westerns.
And I went to film school. I should have realized that.
Right? Like
Oh.
that
You
should have
went
been
to
right
I knew the
there.
term, but I knew the
Yes.
But I
you
knew
name it, he was a major in it.
I knew they
for
were
a
low
while.
budget, and they have a characteristic of like film noir, but they're not really
Yep.
film noir. Some of them are very serious, and they are very film noirish, but some aren't. Yeah, you know what film noir is, right?
All I know is Drakkar Noir.
Truck. It's
Yeah.
dark and
Glow.
black and black and white.
It's like where the detective talks to himself. You always hear
Yeah.
the detective.
Yeah.
I dated a guy in high school that wore that, and like I was obsessed with it for years, and then I was like, ugh.
We are
Yeah.
off the rails again.
That's hilarious.
Drakkar Noir. It's like brown liquor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Brown liquor.
Brown liquor. Don't do brown liquor. Although that Jack Daniel's honey was pretty good.
Oh,
My dad had.
Yeah, we are off the rails now.
You know why I know what film noir is?
How do you know? Why?
From Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Did y'all
You
ever
bet.
see that?
Nope.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh.
Look that up.
Is it like
Yeah.
The Devil Wears Prada?
No,
No.
it's nothing like that.
I've never seen that either.
No. Oh, I like that book.
All right. On that note, we are going to call it in for tonight. We hope you liked this episode and interested to see how many people watch on YouTube now that we're doing this.
Mhm.
Let us know if it's worth us putting makeup on and doing our hair and wearing cool stuff. If you're watching there, that'd be great. So you can smash that bell and subscribe and leave us comments down here.
I don't know that there's a bell.
There is a bell.
Is there a bell? I looked. I
Yeah,
didn't see a
there's
bell.
a bell.
It's on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Yep.
It's
a
not
bell.
huge.
Smash
Hit the bell.
Yeah.
Hit the bell.
And we'd also love to hear your comments and your thoughts about value resorts versus moderate resorts. What maybe things we forgot to mention that are important to you, or that sort of thing. And of course, if you want to talk about the Mandalorian, we're up for that,
Please.
right?
Yeah.
We're here for
all
that.
day.
All day. We should start
All right.
taking bets on when the stuffies are coming out.
Oh,
I need them.
there's going to be a There's going to be a real problem.
Yep.
Like I don't think there's going to be much for Christmas. This is going to be a problem. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh.
There was some talk from Hasbro that said they won't have their stuff ready by Christmas.
Oh.
But Hasbro, I don't necessarily know.
Hasbro's not making stuffies.
They're not
probably.
making stuffies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll see you real soon. Bye.
Safe travels, everyone.
Bye, everybody.